sa ngayon? Kasama na po ano yung mga challenges na hinaharap nyo? At overall again, no, not just for the department, bakit parang hirap tayong alisin yung mga pogo bosses sa ating bansa?
For the Task Force Against Human Trafficking po, we provide case build-up assistance with our partner LEAS, the National Bureau of Investigation, Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, and the PNP as well, Madam Chair. Not only that, we also provide legal assistance to those who are victims of human trafficking, not only po POGO-related cases, pero lahat po ng human trafficking cases. Also, we accommodate the LEAS, Madam Chair, particularly in the cases filed with the Department of Justice. Yung task force ko po ang nag-handle lahat po ng cases like Kibuloy, Alice Goo, Cassie Ong po, lahat po ng human trafficking cases filed with the Department of Justice. So, limited po kami dun sa i-refer po ng ating LEAS. But insofar as the investigation, prior to, during, and after the operation of our LEAS, we provide legal assistance. Kasi po meron po kaming Department Circular number 20 sa Department of Justice, and we are obliged to extend assistance to our partner LEAS. To see to it po na, number one, maganda po yung kaso at hindi po tayo natatalo.
Sure. May challenges po ba kayong hinaharap sa paggawa nito? At tama ba yung sense namin na parang hirap na hirap tayong paalisin talaga yung mga pogo bosses for good? Kung nagko-conquer ang department, bakit tayo hirap na hirap dyan?
Hindi ko po pwedeng sabihin na hirap kasi po, Madam Chair, limited po kasi ang aking authority dun sa cases filed with the Department of Justice and the assistance provided by the task force to our partner LEAS. So, limited po ang knowledge ko tungkol sa pagpapaalis. But insofar as the task force is concerned, marami pong operation ng ating partner LEAS. Hanggang ngayong month po, nag-ooperate po sila. Nag-extend kami ng assistance, case build-up assistance, investigation. So, sa tingin po ng task force, ginagawa po naman ng LEA natin yung kanilang trabaho to operate po against the illegal POGO businesses in the Philippines.
Any challenges being faced po?
Medyo marami lang po masyadong na-ooperate. So, minsan, maraming request. Sa sobrang dami po minsan ng request, minsan maghapon na nagki-case build up ang mga prosecutors, and minsan pati po ang partner LEAS. Sa sobrang dami po ng nare-rescue, sobrang dami po ng naaaresto, and yun pong track ng pagki-case build up. Yun po.
Sobrang dami siguro dahil sobrang daming naging problema natin sa POGO. So, nandun tayo sa early part, pinakamahirap na decisively ma-deal talaga ng end dito sa POGOs na ito. Pero maraming salamat po, Attorney Olivia, at sa department. So, balik naman po ako sa PAGCOR, no? Mga kaugnay na tanong natin dito. So, will it be Attorney Jessa or will General Villanueva? Since the President's declaration of the POGO ban nung SONA, pwede po bang magbigay ng recent updates ang PAGCOR tungkol dito? May estimation na po ba ang corporation kung ilan pang mga POGO ang nag-ooperate dito sa atin?
Madam Senator, just to give an update po with regard to the closure of the IGLs po upon the pronouncement of the President po. Since July 22, 2024, PAGCOR ceased issuing and renewing all internet gaming licenses and authorizations for service providers. And by December 15, 2024, all 42 internet gaming licensees and 18 authorized providers have already been canceled. And The total operating sites are 304, and all of these were also closed before December 31, 2024. So ngayon po, patuloy pa rin naman po yung pag-ikot para po masigurado po yung closure nila. And nagbibigay din po tayo ng information whenever we receive reports po that there are illegal operations around Metro Manila or in other karatig po na probinsya or mga cities. Nire-report po natin ito sa law enforcement agencies para po ma-operate din po nila.
At ilan po, attorney, itong mga nag-o-operate pa rin sa NCR, sa mga karatig rehiyon or sa buong Pilipinas?
So, Madam Chair, we'll just give the exact number po yung mga na-report po namin na illegal operations.
All right. And please let us know during this hearing. And aside from the cancellation of licenses na inulat nyo na po, paano po sinisigurado ng PAGCOR na completely tumigil na yung operations in addition to what you have said?
The monitoring team po of PAGCOR as well as our security group are still regularly going around these operating sites to ensure po na hindi na po nag-ooperate yung mga former licensees sa locations na yon. We also coordinated with the local government units to ensure the cancellation of their permits in their jurisdiction. And we also coordinate with the law enforcement agencies whenever there are reports para po mapuntahan din po nila kung sinasabi pong meron pang operation dito sa mga lugar na ito.
Salamat, attorney. Now, closer to home dito po sa Senate, the Senate President has called for a review also of the Philippine inland gaming operators. May developments po ba na mga dating POGO operators ay nag-a-apply para sa PIGO licenses? Kung ganon, pwede bang i-provide ng PAGCOR ang komiteng ito ng bilang ng mga PIGO licensees o licenses issued ng PAGCOR? And lastly, about this topic of the PIGOs, paano po sinisigurado ng PAGCOR na yung mga ill effects ng POGOs ay hindi mangyayari din sa mga PIGOs?
I would like to apologize po with regard to the first question po. If there are applicants, I don't have direct knowledge po with regard to these applications, but we will coordinate po with the proper office to give you po the information whether po meron pong ganong klaseng applications. With regard naman po sa mga ill effects po, the PAGCOR po through this administration is serious in addressing po the responsible gaming practices. Marami na pong mga coordination na ginagawa sa mga platforms and non-government organizations para po mapaigting pa namin yung responsible gaming program ng PAGCOR. We're also looking into requiring the licensees to have to employ or to engage artificial intelligence programs para po mas ma-detect po yung mga habits, spending habits ng mga players, gambling addiction, and nakikipag-coordinate din po kami sa mga rehabilitation centers and non-government organizations na nagbibigay po ng mga serbisyo para sa ganito pong klase na mga problema na kinakaharap. Also, pinapaigting din po namin yung campaign namin para po mapaalam po sa mga players that there are options for exclusion kung sa tingin po nila ay meron na po silang problema or ang kanilang pamilya po ay meron ng nakikitang problema sa kanilang sa members of their family, pwede po nilang gamitin itong mga exclusion programs na ito para po maiwasan po na lumala pa yung problema sa po na itong mga kapamilya nila. So, PAGCOR po is very, very serious po na hindi po mangyari yung mga ill effects po ng POGO sa PIGOs, and most especially po sa mga kababayan natin. Meron po tayong mga responsible gambling programs na patuloy po nating pinapaganda at pinapalakas pa.
Ngayon ko lang narinig yun, responsible gambling. Maraming salamat, Attorney Jessa. Ingat din lang po dun sa requiring licensees to employ AI habang wala pang yata sa iba't ibang sektor, hindi lang lalo na sa gambling, yung mga protocols at safeguards kaugnay ng AI na para hindi siya ma-hijack din. Hindi pero laban sa sinasabi ng PAGCOR na mabuting layunin niya.
Yes, ma'am, definitely pag-aaralan pong mabuti.
And bilang po ng mga PIGO licenses na na-issue ng PAGCOR?
I think there are already 61.
All right. Could the PAGCOR provide the committee a list of the 61 PIGO licensees?
Will do po.
Okay, salamat po, Attorney. And then a last question for PAGCOR at this point. Well, of course, alam po natin na kahit may POGO ban na inanunsyo nung Hulyo at lumipas na yung deadline ng pagban nung December 31 at gaya ng iniulat din ninyo, ongoing pa rin ang mga POGO raids sa ating bansa. Ano po yung napansin ng PAGCOR na naging patterns ng mga POGOs na umiiwas dun sa POGO ban? Gumagamit ba sila ng ibang klaseng mga lisensya para ituloy yung mga operations nila? Yes, General Villanueva.
Magandang umaga po, Madam Chair. Actually, this is our illegal activities already. Yung nakikita namin dito, ma'am, nag-splinter na rin sila, kadamihan dito, and we have some observations na yung iba nasa residential lang sila, peripheries, and actually we have reported numerous times sa law enforcement agencies about our observations. And kaya nga namin, ma'am, ini-inspect ulit ito. Nagdo-double time pa rin kami dito ngayon. Dinadagdagan namin yung inspection time namin sa mga dating mga POGO upang malaman namin kung andyan pa sila sa paligid or nag-ooperate pa rin. And we have some observations, ma'am, na andito sila sa mga residential but in a small groups already sa mga subdivisions. Ang constraints lang or limitations sa amin, ma'am, yung mga PNP, katulad nung panahon noon, kaya namin mag-inspect anytime, kahit 2:00 ng madaling araw, nag-inspect kami. But today, medyo nahirapan kami kasi kailangan na namin ng tulong din ng local government, yung BPLO, yung visitorial power namin naapektuhan, and we had to coordinate with the building administrator kasi wala na yung most of the mga POGO yan, wala na, sarado na po yan. Kaya hindi na rin kami basta pinapapasok sa building. But hindi naman po yun ang rason para i-limit namin yung sarili namin. We coordinate with the building administrator, sa mga BPLO pa rin. Patuloy po kami nag-i-inspect kahit weekends po. Last Friday kasama, andun ako nag-supervise just to intensify. We will double our efforts, ma'am, to see to it na hindi na makapag-operate tong mga dating natin, yung mga pogong yan. And we're coordinating well with the law enforcement agencies. Very close po ako sa mga agencies na yan, and they've been helping us a lot. And I'd like to thank them for their efforts, their best efforts. And we will continue to supporting our law enforcement agencies, ma'am.
Salamat, General. And dun sa pag-splinter ng mga POGO sa smaller groups at pagsuot nila sa mga residential areas, subdivisions, gumagamit ba sila ng ibang klaseng mga lisensya para ituloy yung operations nila?
Wala na po, ma'am. Talagang illegal na to, ma'am. Walang lisensya. At hindi naman pwede sila mag-operate ng business dun sa residential, ma'am.
Salamat, General Villanueva at sa PAGCOR. Dako naman po ako sa Philippine National Police. Will it be General Pawid or General Torre or which resource person? Yung unang tanong ko po, ang PNP ba ay gumawa ng sarili niyang investigasyon kung paano nakatakas si Guo Huaping at yung mga kasama niya? Yes, General Torre.
Madam Chairman, we just provided support and took the cue from the other government agencies. Ang unang consideration doon is it was a BI concern. So, sumuport lang ma'am and just gathered the information from the ground and provided it through intelligence sharing.
So, is there any information gathered from the ground, General, na pwede niyong i-share sa komite kung paano nga nakatakas si Guo Huaping dahil di pa rin masagot ng BI eh.
Unfortunately, ma'am, the focal person of the operations was not here with us, General Macapas. Pasensya na po kayo, magtuturo ako, baka manuno po ako. Pero siya po ang point man namin doon, nakarating at sila rin ang nakita naman sa mass media, sa official reports, na sila sumundo nito.
Yes, very familiar sa akin yung pangalan ng General Macapas. Pero, syempre, hindi lang naman si General Macapas ang nag-imbestiga, yung PNP. So, may institutional knowledge or memory. Is there anything that could be shared on behalf of the PNP sa pagkaalam ng pambansang kapulisan natin
Yes.
paano nakatakas si Guo Huaping?
During the time, ma'am, General Macapas is the Deputy Director of the Directorate for Intelligence. And it was conducted through the intelligence exchange through the police attaches of the two countries.
And meron po bang any official information in writing or through informal channels sa tulong din itong counterpart intelligence agency sa ibang bansa?
Yes, ma'am. If I may request that we'll give it to you on an executive session, considering that it also contains some sensitive information na nagkaroon nga ng buntot hanggang dun sa may aming PNP custodial facility. So, if will allow us, we'll give it to you on an executive session, ma'am. And a written report will also be provided to the committee.
Thank you very much, General. That would be appreciated. Ayan, naalala ko na naman yung PNP custodial facility and the role it may have played dito sa buong kwento ni Guo Huaping. Tapos sir, may ginawa bang investigasyon ang PNP tungkol naman sa posibleng involvement ng mga police di umano sa pagprotekta ng mga POGO bosses? And in particular, a very recent information, alam ba ng PNP itong tinatawag na POGO Muscle Force na binanggit ng PAO, if I recall correctly, in connection with yung recent kidnapping case?
That is part of our internal investigation, ma'am, regarding this kidnapping, yung recent kidnapping na ina-unearth pa namin ang punot dulo. We'll be giving you feedback regarding this matter, ma'am.
Salamat, General. At yung internal investigation, kung meron ang PNP sa mga PNP officers or personnel na nagpoprotekta di umano sa mga POGO bosses?
Yes, ma'am, we're doing that. There are several units, particularly the IMEG, the Internal Affairs Service, the Directorate of Intelligence, and the Counterintelligence, specifically the Counterintelligence Division. It is an ongoing investigation, ma'am.
So, maibabahagi nyo rin sa amin in executive session or is there anything you can tell in open hearing?
We can give it to you in executive session, ma'am.
Salamat, General. Of course, eventually, after the executive sessions at kung anong mapagkasundo ang time frame kung meron na going public ng PNP ang kahit bahagi ng internal investigation ito, I think makakatulong sa overall na pagreporma ng, well, lahat ng mga agencies around the table kaugnay ng learnings natin dito sa nangyari sa pagtakas ni Guo Huaping.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, General. Huling tanong ko sa PNP at this point in time, nung raid ng PNP CITG sa isang Pogo Hub along Macapagal Avenue nitong Feb 24 o 25 lamang, ang lumabas na ebidensya ay may mga Pilipinong biktima ng mga scam enterprises na ito. At ayon sa balita, nakita nyo ng PNP na ang mga biktima ay mga Pilipino nga. So, sa tingin nyo ba ng PNP, yung mga phishing at spoofing na mga scam na talamak ngayon, sa Pogo Hubs na rin ginagawa?
In this particular case, ma'am, yes, we can, based on the initial, the cursory investigation that we conducted on site, pending the issuance of the WSS ECD and the writ of to break open from the courts, we can actually see that they target are Filipinos, considering that we recovered sizable number of SIM cards, hundreds of thousands of SIM cards, together with the GSM devices that turns the computers into multi-SIM card cell phones, which they use to send messages to local numbers. We saw the local numbers on several computers that they are being targeted with phishing and spoofing messages.
Which relates po to my last for now follow-up question, General. What about po yung mga online lending scams sa ngayon? Ito po ba ay, o kaya mga harassment scams, ito po ay kaugnay din ba dito?
These POGOs are not connected to that, ma'am. But the operations are similar. There are established companies conducting those online lending, and the collection agencies. Basically, the devices that they use are the same. They're using a computer with several which are connected to a GSM device that turns it into a computer with that turns the computer into a cell phone with several SIM cards that is capable of blasting text simultaneously. So essentially, they are using the same equipment, but their company and the companies are different, and the purpose of the operations are different.
Kilala na po ng PNP yung mga established companies na ito?
We have conducted several raids. The ACG had conducted several raids on these collection agencies that are using the hard strong arm tactics, like putting to shame the persons who are being these persons who have outstanding credit balance, especially the credit card balances that are turned over to them by the banks. So there are several companies that were already raided by the ACG and the CIDG, and also for the online lending businesses. There are legitimate businesses operating on that, but there are also businesses that are also operating on the similar platform and similar environment. However, one of the distinction of these underground companies are the very high and usurious rates that are not that are in violation of the law.
So baka wake-up call din ito sa mga bangko na huwag gumamit o makipagtrabaho sa mga illegitimate na di umanong collection agencies na ito to scam or to harass or to strong arm or to shame yung mga borrowers ng mga bangko.